two types of selfish people and you are one of them. Watch the full video to find out what I mean. I promise I'm not being nasty. This is an empowering video. Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Shae Eloise and I am a speaker, facilitator, author, women's embodiment mentor, self-growth enthusiast, runner, coffee connoisseur, crochet expert. Okay, not expert, but I am starting to create a skirt, and isn't it the most adorable thing you've ever seen? No, this is not the skirt. It will be longer than this, but I'm so proud of myself. Okay, enough of that. I have a special video for you. This is something that I am like so juiced up with right now. And at the end of the video, I am going to do a card reading for you. And it will be like a speedy, quick reading, but stay to the end if you want that. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who has been giving love on my videos, commenting, all of the watches. It's going up and up and up. And yes, it's because I'm showing up more on this channel, but also just the resonance that some of you are really feeling with what I have to share is so beautiful. It makes me feel really connected to you, whoever you are. These people who could be anywhere in the world right now. It's magical. I receive a comment from someone and I'm like, they don't know right now. Well, maybe they do, but they've just touched me in some way, walking through the streets of Berlin. Where are they in the world? In that moment, we had this connection and oh, I love it. All right, let's talk about selfishness. Is that a little bit scary to talk about? Do you feel a little bit like, I don't want to talk about selfishness? I'm not selfish. I'm the most selfless person in the world. This is my hypothesis. Okay, there are two types of selfish people. I'm going to talk about the first type that I have been recently for the past months, creeping up and up and up and up. I find it important to be highly accountable for ways that I am not showing up as I would ideally love to be. It helps keep myself in check, but there's a but to this. It's a huge but, and this will come later. I'm going to talk about the selfishness. This selfish person is the person who tends to make everything about them. Everything is about them, how they feel, how they got hurt, how they're not okay, how that person is making them feel, how that person should give them more attention, buy flowers more, like all of this. That selfishness is actually coming from self-depletion. This is a self-depleted person. When someone sees a very self-centered, quite narcissistic, I mean, look, I don't know too much about the science of narcissism. Is there a science of narcissism? I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I do know that people who are grasping onto the idea that everything is about them and they dominate conversations and they can't listen to the other person, it is because they are so depleted inside from their own self-validation, self-worth, self-love, self-care that they put it onto the world to do that for them. They give everyone else the job. I promoted my partner to do it for me. I didn't listen in conversations when we had conflict. I interrupted him a lot, even after he told me that that was not okay for him to be interrupted in the way that I was. And I did it. I still interrupted him. I showed up in a way that I am not proud of, but I forgive myself for. Because I was so depleted, I stopped doing things that I loved. I stopped showing up for myself internally. I was getting my nails done, doing my face massage. And there'd be moments where I would bounce back into that more full and secure state in myself. But the real issue was that I wasn't acknowledging the intense importance of protecting my energy, honoring myself, giving myself what I needed. I am, as a partner, quite a feminine, receptive being. I like to be led. I like to, be taken. And in this energy of being taken, I lost myself to be taken so much that I was taking myself away from myself. There's so much more to be said about this, but I think the crux of it is if we are depleted in ourself, and the symptoms would be that from the outside, things tend to really just be about you. You know, it's very hard to hold space for another person We take offense. We take things personally. We're more comparative and competitive. This is a key point. I noticed that I became more jealous of other women, of my partner's exes from years ago. It all became about me and my worthiness and this and that and that. And my lens was, am I worthy? Am I worthy? Am I full? Where can I complete myself? Where can I feel better? Where can I feel better? Where can I feel better? This isn't to say that you can't look to others to help uplift you, but no one, not one person, but you can have the job of making you happy and loving you. They can add to your happiness. They can love you, but it's very, very hard to love a person who does not love themselves. You can hold love and compassion and empathy for them, but it is very hard. And it will create a strain and a ripple, and that just filters out to the people in your life. If you have a partner, it will go to them. They will feel pressured. They will feel unable to make you happy because they won't be able to, because you're not making yourself happy first. And ultimately, it's not sustainable. It is our sole responsibility to fill ourselves up, to create a relationship with ourselves where we know our worth. No amount of, I'm using this point, look, this is my crochet hook, and I'm using it to make, like, I wish I had my Harry Potter wand. I have a Harry Potter wand that I got for my birthday. My partner got me the Luna Lovegood wand. Shout out to anyone else who has a Harry Potter wand. You're my kind of people, especially the Luna Lovegood wand. I love her so much. You know why I love her too? Let's bring it back to this conversation. She is so like in herself and in her weirdness, and she doesn't care. She really does not care what anyone else thinks of her. She's like this daydreamy, like, no. And you know, she's like reading her Quibbler upside down and just spouting out random facts. And like, even people when they're bullying her, you know, they put all her clothes, like, someone stole my clothes and I do need them back. Like, she's so secure in herself. I think that's why I love her so much. And I really wish I had my wand with me. So this is going to be it. Okay, back to the point I was making. I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, no one can do it for you. It will deplete them. They will need to move away from you, from that energy. As much as they love you and they don't want to, it's going to create a huge divide. And that is where that type of selfishness brings us. But there is another way. This is the way that has always been asked of you in that first type of selfishness. That first type of selfishness is a distortion of what you're really seeking, and that is self-care, self-fulfillment. And it's, oh man, I want to have this conversation where our minds, when we're listening to it, don't just tune out and go like, yeah, self-love is everything. Like, we hear that so much. I heard that so much. There are videos I have on here where I talk about it, and I'm talking about similar points because there are times in my life where I really touched this. I don't know that I've ever touched it in the way that I have now. There's been something that's happened in my life that's made me wake up and see something very clearly, and I've realized, ooh, okay, Shae, this is your up-level time in this. You know this stuff, you have practiced this stuff, you have felt this stuff. I felt this when I met my partner. It was very much in this for the first few months, really, really in this. And then, because I wasn't acknowledging the importance of building myself up. I think we all do this to some degree. And sometimes it's only until we're out of balance that we realize we're out of balance and that we need to rebalance, and that we realize that that is incredibly important for us to maintain that balance. And then we start realizing that this has to be a daily thing. This has to be number one, because otherwise it will unravel. So the second type of selfishness is the one where I'm putting me first. I believe we have been conditioned to not put ourselves first. I remember in the schoolyard back in Australia when I was like, well, maybe like 6 years old. I don't even know how to do like a really strong Australian accent anymore. Oh my God. Let me try. Yeah, when I was like 6 years old, I don't know. Maybe I'm already a very Australian accent. I can't hear myself anymore. But when I was about 6 years old, people would say, oh, she loves herself. She loves herself, as a bad thing, right? Where did those kids get that from? Their parents, maybe? Surely, like they're hearing it somewhere. They're hearing it somewhere, and it's probably their parents' perceptions passed down onto them. But like, when did that become a bad thing? And so what does that create in us? This feeling of like, oh, well, we're not allowed to put ourselves first. We're not allowed to do that. People will reject us. People will disconnect from us. We'll lose love. We'll lose connection if we put ourselves first. And that is so sad, because what happens is we stop putting ourselves first. We stop caring for ourselves. And instead, we become depleted. We overgive. We overgive everything. We lose ourselves. We start going along with what the other person says. We lose our boundaries. And we make the connection more important than ourselves. But the outside connection, if that's more important than the connection with ourselves, we're not even connecting with that person in a true way. Because if we've lost connection with ourselves, it's a distorted us that's trying to grasp onto the connection. It's not even us showing up in the connection. And I think part of it is realizing that if we're so afraid to lose the connection, I have said this on the channel before actually, if we're so afraid to lose the connection, our deep fear is loss of connection. Realize that you've already created that from what you're afraid of. You have lost connection to yourself. And the thing that you're most afraid of, it's happened. By trying to run away from it, you've created it. This is my next book, by the way. Look at it in your life. Look at all the things that you're trying to run away from, and notice how difficult it is to really run away from them. And notice maybe how actually all of your management behaviors are you running toward them. Like the person who's afraid of conflict. So when their partner shares with them something from a grounded space too, can be anything. They are dismissive and they shut off because they are afraid of conflict. They're afraid of losing themselves in the conflict even more. And then through dismissing the other person who's reaching out to share, that person feels deeply hurt, not listened to. They try to share that, the dismissal comes back, and then that person gets anxious and whatever, bam, you have conflict. It's one example. So what I'm saying here is, I believe a lot of us have different ways to manage our fear of loss of connection. And that fear comes from generally imprints from our childhood where we, maybe weren't allowed to put ourselves first or share our emotions. We were told to be quiet. We were told to lock them down. We were told to shut up, all of the things. We had caregivers who couldn't take care of their own emotions. And therefore we became subject to be the caregiver, overgiving, giving too much of ourselves, losing ourselves. And this created this ripple where, or rather this created this like fracture in our ability to really nourish ourselves and set boundaries like, hey, I want a day alone. I want to go take this day. Actually, I don't want to eat there tonight. I want to do this. I believe this happens a lot both sides. Women overgiving, and men overgiving in a way where they're just giving up themselves and what they want. And the woman controls, and then the man just, okay, whatever, until it's like, no, me, I want me back. Second type of selfishness, the one we want to be, actually helps us be more selfless. And this is selfishness of putting ourselves first and loving ourselves in the beautiful, everything we feel in that is whole. It is nourished. It is like full of validation, of care, of making ourselves happy. It's not putting ourselves first to the detriment of others. It's putting ourselves first to help uplift others. To help others because we are able to then overflow with the loving energy we are filling ourselves up with. And it's so easy to say, love yourself first. Cool, thanks, Shae. I've only been hearing that for the past decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. Thanks, Shae. Every single self-help book has told me that. Why don't I get it still? I think for some people, they need a big enough fracture in something for them to really get the importance of it. And then I think some people just like become really ready. They're inspired by a certain energy. Maybe this is your inspiration moment. Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. For me, it was the threat of losing something that is precious to me that really kicked me into gear to realize, like, Shae, what is going on with you? What do you need? And why, how have you been trying to get it in all the wrong places, right? Putting yourself first means asking yourself, how do I feel and what do I need? It's doing things that you love to do because you love to do them. It's making decisions for you. And it may feel really scary because you have conditioned yourself to believe that if you speak up for what you desire to someone that you deeply love and care about and want to be with, you are likely conditioning yourself to be afraid that you're going to lose the connection. But the thing is, you will lose the connection if you lose the connection to yourself. And maybe you won't lose the connection in, maybe, the partnership won't end, but it will definitely not be as connected and intimate and loving and free and nourishing as it could be. So you've lost a healthy connection. For me, as some examples, whenever I turn outward to try to find that love and validation, and this doesn't mean I'm not looking outward for support. I am being uplifted by my team of beautiful people in my life, and right now, I am reminding myself, it's really at the top of my awareness, I am the one that I'm looking for. I am the one that I am looking for. Doing things like spending hours crocheting, doing things like going to my favorite coffee shop, doing things like telling people what I need and what I desire, doing things like sitting down and having an out loud conversation with my inner child, doing things like ask questions and get answers to questions I have always wanted to ask my entire life but was too scared to. I had questions about my mother who has passed, I had a very difficult relationship with growing up. I always wanted to ask about her. I always wanted to get answers that I knew would bring me closure and healing. And I was so afraid of that potentially creating a fissure, like a fracture in my relationship with my family, that I didn't ask until I did a few days ago. And you know what? Because I'm more connected to me and doing that was for me, that brought me more connection to my family. Not the opposite, not the disconnection. Disconnection to yourself brings disconnection to the outside. Connection to yourself breeds connection to the outside. So ask yourself, how are the ways that I love to be loved? What are the ways I feel like I come across as needy to the people around me? What are the ways I feel like I need people to save me? How is this coming out? How am I selfish in the self-depleted way? Maybe. And maybe you're not. Maybe you're just watching this and being like, I'm doing great at this. For me, I have been doing great at this in the past few days. And it's kind of like I've taken the red pill or the blue pill or the, I don't know, oh my gosh, even that terminology now is like, there's like a whole subculture around it and maybe we can't use that analogy anymore, which kind of sucks. I've sipped the Alice in Wonderland. Like, I don't know what analogy to use anymore. I've seen it, I've felt it, I've experienced the deep effects of it, and I don't know how I could go back to the depletion that I was. It's like when I was severely undernourished with orthorexia. Some of you don't know that story. I think I've shared it on my YouTube YouTube channel a few times. That level of depletion I got to physically, I can never get back to that level of physical depletion ever again. I know what it's like now. but it was also the inner depletion. And so even though I wasn't getting to that level of inner depletion, I was still depleted. And the physical depletion was coming out in tiredness, overstimulation, unable to regulate my emotions, extreme sensitivity to things. Migraines, I started getting migraines again. I believe they're all connected. Ill health just in the sense of just exhaustion, you know? I haven't felt as physically healthy as I am now for months. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So this is hopefully your inspiration to ask yourself these questions, which may be hard to ask yourself. And also realize, actually, this is the key point that I really wanted to share. If you notice, like me, that you're like, oh, wow, I was being selfish. I was self-depleted and selfish. Do not criticize yourself for that, because you cannot criticize yourself into love. That's not how it works. Trust me, I've been trying to for years criticize myself into love and worthiness and knowing my value. How is that ever going to work? Do you do that? Do you criticize yourself into trying to grow and love yourself? Like, don't criticize yourself for criticizing yourself either. So let's do a little practice right now. Okay. Close your eyes. Don't, if you're driving or doing anything else that requires your eyes open, just listen. But I'm going to close my eyes. Let these words wash over you as if you're saying them to yourself, and then go away and say them to yourself. I forgive myself for criticizing myself in the past. I forgive myself for bringing myself to depletion. I forgive myself for not caring for myself. I forgive myself for all of the ways I didn't show up for myself, which led me to not show up for others. I forgive myself because I understand that I was just trying to get the love that I deserve and desire. And it's not my fault I didn't know I was doing it in the wrong places. That's okay. I didn't know what I know now. I was doing the best I could with what I had. But now I see the gift of what this is showing me. Thank you, life and myself, for showing me how depleted I was. Thank you, because now I know how important it is to nourish myself. Thank you so much for showing me how important it is so I can realign myself and get back into beautiful, deep love that cannot ever be replaced by anything or anyone outside of me, because now I know that this place exists within me and I can create this place within me no matter who I'm with or where I am. This place always exists within me and I can access it. And I thank myself for getting off balance so I could realize the joy of coming back into balance. And I thank life for creating the conditions for this to happen. And I thank others for also creating those conditions. Those who have shared that they were hurt, those who have left me. Thank you for playing such a pivotal role in my journey to wholeness within myself, because now I am excited for all the ways I can show up in wholeness and in love and in fullness and in excitement and in joy, and share that with the people around me and the people I love. I am going to create amazing things from this. I am going to show people their own worth through just me being in my own worth and value. Thank you to myself. There is no criticism here. There is just gratitude. Thank you. Let that energy wash over you. The truth of those words sink into you. Listen to that over and over again if you need to. Can you feel within you the truth of that? If you can't now, you will. Slowly open your eyes. I am tingling all over. I feel amazing. I feel, okay, this is the energy I felt the first time my partner told me he loved me. And that is what it is. It's love. We can still appreciate and adore the love that is coming to us from others, but they are not the source. You are. And remember that. I am going to pull 2 cards. Just 2 cards. I'm going to pull one from this deck, this Osho Tarot deck, and then one from this deck, the She Wolf Tarot deck. Now, I will not read the books of what they mean, but here are the books. This one I have had for probably 17 years, I think now. It is broken. It's a mess. It once got completely drenched full of water, and now it's like, I'm actually so surprised it even dried and can open. I'm not going to use it. I did. The cover to this is gone, but the book is still here. Instead, what I do is I tend to read them intuitively. I do not know what the tarot signs are. I use these as oracle. If anyone's super deep into tarot and you're like, oh my God, this is blasphemy for tarot. Sorry, you can stop watching this. Have a beautiful day. You can end it here. But I read intuitively both the word or words and the picture. So choose which one you would like. If you want both and to take both messages, listen to them all the way through. Otherwise, it's not going to be very long, probably just a few minutes. So you can just like skip ahead to whichever one you choose. I'm going to be doing this one first. This is a general reading, whatever wants to come through, whatever you're needing to hear right now. Just open your self, open your energy, open your heart, open your mind to what wants to come through. All right. 8 of Cups. I might have to put my finger over the first in case YouTube doesn't like it. It's just a woman, she's naked. All right, this is what I have. Love every single version of you. Self-love and self-care is not about celebrating just the empowered you. Go to the mirror and talk to every part of you. Write down the different parts of you, the jealous part of you, the lazy part of you, the whatever, all the parts of you you don't like, write them down and then speak to them in the mirror. Ask for their forgiveness for not accepting them and accept them into your heart. All parts of you have culminated together to help you come into alignment. The parts of you that are not the you that you feel truly aligned with, but they've developed over coping mechanisms and protective behaviors and habits that have been formed through other ways that we're chasing dopamine. All of them have played a role in your life to get you to this point of realization of who you are, and they are worthy of your love too. Not just worthy, they need your love too. So accept them, all parts of them. The sabotaging part of you, the part of you that isn't showing up how you really want to, all of the parts of you. Include the good parts too, not just the bad parts. Include all the beautiful parts, good parts, bad. Take away that language. Every single part of you, love. Okay, second group. Here we go. This one always makes me cry. The dream. My hand's shaking a little bit. She is looking to this ultimate dream. Oof, okay. It's a dream of partnership, where she is loved. She's loved. She doesn't realize that she has this already. The dream that you want, the partnership that you want is there. It's in the field, it's there. It wants you. It wants you. You are keeping it simply as a dream and not as a reality because you're believing that it's not real yet and that you need to be different and that you need to be better and that you need to be this, and this before you can have that. That you need to be more successful, that you need to be more fulfilled in whatever, that you need a whatever. It's there. It is not a dream. Firstly, take away the idea that it is a dream because you are affirming that it is not real and cannot yet be real by calling it a dream. This is your birthright. This is your truth. And this yummy love is the love we just talked about. She believes that she is just a lowly little peasant, unworthy of love yet because it will come only when another person comes. No. She has this within her, and as soon as she embraces that within her, she becomes that woman. So, you want partnership in your life? Fill yourself with everything you want to feel in that partnership. Be in that energy already, and it will be there. It will be there. It can't not. Promise me that you will fill yourself up. All parts of you. All right, this is the longest video I've ever created. I am so inspired to keep sharing more and more and more. And if you want some yummy, juicy energy, I have some offerings for you. Firstly, I have a free WhatsApp group, completely free WhatsApp group. I will fill it until it's full because you know how WhatsApp groups can only have a certain amount of people. It's a free WhatsApp group and it is for us to share gratitude every single day, accountability to share gratitude, 1 minute voice note. That's the thing. You cannot join this WhatsApp group unless you voice note your gratitude. If you're not ready yet, but you have the intention of one day voice noting your gratitude, by the way, it's only a 1 minute voice note. You're not allowed to do more than that. You'll get a warning and then you'll be asked to leave the group if it's more than 1 minute. That's really more because of like the too much spam and like just keeping the container clear. That sounded so harsh. I will lovingly let you know that this is how the group goes, but you share what you are grateful for and then you listen to others if you want to be inspired, and you celebrate each other and uplift each other and fill each other up with this yummy, juicy energy. And that is completely free. You can join that. There's a link down below. And then also I have a She Grows group. This is only for women and this is a membership portal where you join. It's on the school platform if some of you know of it. You join and you are in a closed community of women where we have live women's circles where I am leading a women's circle. Other women in the future will also lead them. I also have every single one of my online courses. Maybe you've heard me talk about them in other videos. I don't sell them alone anymore. They are just up there for you to consume as many of the courses as you like, as long as you have the membership. So if you're not a member anymore, you don't get access, but if you're a member, you can go through all of them. I have guided meditations on there, other yummy little juicy things. This group is growing more and more and more, and it's so exciting, and it is only $15 a month. That's it. Probably less than you pay when you go out for breakfast. And then I have my book, Grounded Goddess. That is my first published book. Go and check it out. The link is down below. And more books to come, more videos to come. If you watched this to the end, you are precious to me. Thank you. If you didn't watch it to the end, you wouldn't be hearing me say this right now, so it's a redundant statement, but you are so loved and worthy, and I thank you for being here.